Hey everybody, gonna go ahead and post here a mild channel update. For the time being there won't be any new games. We're gonna take a little bit of break from Dragon Ball Z to go ahead and await the next set, Awakening, just to see how much it changes the game with the frozen list and all. I did get to attend the Colorado Regional in Pueblo, Colorado here in September. It was a fantastic experience. I had a chance to attend the event last year, and I did marginally well. I did, to the best of my memory, either 2 and 4, or something like that, 3 and 4. Not good. Negative on the score there. This year, I vowed to do much better. I trained very hard with some of the other guys in our local play group here at Chaos Games and More. We worked very hard and found a great balance for my deck that would run for MPPV and as a primary win condition, and then of course Dragon Ball Victory as a less used condition. So I'm just going to go ahead and quickly go over some of the matches that I had and some highlights and let you know how it was. My first match of the day was up against a Saiyan Rampaging Broly. I managed to get an early game wall breaker off on him, and he just could not do enough damage and keep me down. I actually managed to, even with his ability to cap my stages on leveling, managed to keep away from any significant damage. I ended up MPPVing him, and I want to say 4 combats. I could be wrong. Second match, I went up against a Black Devious 13. This particular matchup I'm more familiar with since a friend of mine uses 13 a lot, so I'm used to what to block, what not to block. That actually came up where he could have crippled me using 13's power. I made sure that no matter how bad a beating I was taking, I made sure I blocked his personality power always. So I kept him from getting the other androids out early game, and it really slowed him down. I did end up MPPVing on this one. I asked him after the match what kind of deck build he was going with. He said he ended up going half beatdown, half MPPV. I wasn't sure if that was just something that it didn't go off because it was against me or not. I'm not entirely sure. Great match though. Oh, the one that's going to cost me the most. Let's talk about a really bad match. A fella showed up to play who is a very good player. Said very competent, no question. He looks just like a friend of mine, and maybe that was what distracted me. So he was playing Blue Protective Cooler. We went down to the nitty-gritty. No joke, it was the last turn of the game. He had 2 cards left in his deck that were just Supernovas. I had 3 cards in my hand, 2 Dragon Balls, and a Namekian knee block. I used Piccolo's power. I could have chose either of the 2 Dragon Balls and been out nothing and just actually been up on everything, but I made the bad choice. I threw away my block. He leveled with hitting me with a Supernova. He leveled to level 2 and KO'd me because I had nothing but Dragon Balls left in my deck with Cooler's power. The hard part about that decision is if I held onto the block, I would have stopped that attack, went to my turn, drew 3 Dragon Balls, and accidentally milled him out before we went into combat and killing him. My fault. Kick myself until next year. Oh, you know what? This is going to be one of them matches where you say, of course I'm going to lose that match. I went up against Tim Cable playing his Namekian Knowledge Piccolo. It was a very tough deck. We went back and forth and traded hits. I got de-leveled like 3 times. I threw 2 different wall breakers on him. We fought down to the nitty-gritty, down to the very bottom. He ended up MPPVing me. He just knocked probably a good 20 plus anger out of me during the course of the game. I also made an interesting mistake. Since I don't traditionally play with heroic energy spheres, since I just don't own any, I didn't think to tell my opponent, whoa, slow down, buddy. I have a sphere in my hand, slow down. So I didn't get to stop a tug of war that ended up crippling me and keeping me from advancing a level and catching up. My fault. We went to lunch, had an okay time, had some laughy times out in the parking lot with the guys, and then went back in, fought a Blue Protective YAMCHA. We had a really rough fight. YAMCHA, as you know, once he hits level 3, it's real bad news. He just rains death on you. He hit me so hard, so much, that my deck ended up being mostly Dragon Balls, and I Dragon Ball victoried him. It was a good one. Apparently, he saw that match. It was a very good match, but apparently he saw that victory condition coming before I did. I didn't even realize I was that close. He was like, you're gonna Dragon Ball victory. I said, I'm gonna do what now? This was the hardest match of the day. A good friend of mine, we ended up having identical scores in terms of win and loss, so we knew that there was a very good chance we were going to get paired up in this particular round of the tournament. I went up against my friend's Red Enraged Cooler. Extraordinarily strong build. Actually won the Colorado ARG Championship just a couple of weeks ago. Did very well. We fought tooth and nail. I'm gonna put it out there, completely honest. I drew the best hands one could draw. Right throw into weighted clothing. Right throw into weighted clothing till I was level 4. I drew a couple of blocks. He drew the perfect attacks to my blocks could compensate for, and I won. And PPV'd, I gotta say maybe 4 or 5 turns tops. It didn't feel great eliminating my friend, for a reason maybe you didn't expect. You see, the top 16 cut's gonna be nothing but the toughest of the tough, and to be perfectly honest, I don't think I can hang with these guys. They're really good, and they're here for a reason. My last fight was against Elmer Walter. I'd heard the name, but didn't really know who that was. The guy's a redneck. I'm putting it out there. The guy's a redneck. He was okay. He played Android 20, Orange Adaptive Android 20, which is like my kryptonite. I just can't do anything against it, and I managed to not even be able to Dragon Ball victory at the end of the game, and he kept hitting me with 20's Destroy Your Deck move. That was a rough fight. I lost, maybe not as dignified as I should have. So I ended up finishing the tournament with a score of 4-3, and I ended up finishing 20th place out of the tournament, which is pretty good. Actually, one of the highest scores. The only fellow who was above me was a World Championship invite, but also local player John Milner. All in all, fantastic tournament. Performed well above my expectations. Met some neat people. Met Mana Beast in person. Sad thing was I didn't get to do any match recording. This is why I kind of have to give you this report after the fact. Well, we're going to have a whole lot more matches and a whole lot more videos coming as soon as the new set's around. Stay tuned.